Hello everyone, it's Oehrchen here. So a little more than 4 months ago, I already made a video on how I'm just fed up of AMD's driver quality. I had driver timeouts. Basically, no matter what I was doing, during editing, streaming, or just gaming, it was just driving me insane. Just to recap what I was playing at the time, games like Hunt, Arc Raiders was having issues, and now it would be Dune Awakening, having some kind of problems with the latest Adrenaline driver software from AMD. Also, some of the typical advice were just, I should check my memory. It's your CPU, reinstall Windows. Your power supply is too weak. All of that up to skill issues. Because some of you were asking, is the grass greener on the Nvidia side? I thought we'd do a small heads up, and shortly after the video, I almost sold one of my kidneys, or even both, and bought this RTX 5080. And did all the problems magically go away? Is the grass really greener on the Nvidia side? Well, let's say it depends. Okay, let's jump into some games. I will mainly not focus on FPS statistics and benchmarks. Why? I don't care if a game delivers 140 FPS or 145 FPS. The game needs to run stable and it needs to feel stable, not just like benchmark stable. I think we all agree that the FPS will be rather high with an RTX 5080 in general, or should be high. Hunt Showdown feels smooth in general. I still can't land my shots, and Nvidia Reflex will not help me with this, but overall the game does feel good. What I had with my AMD 7900 XTX, every time I look at a fire or lighting, the FPS will drop, and you can feel it. The game started to stutter. It does not really happen with the Nvidia card. There are still compounds in the game where you still feel some performance issues, and I would say that is maybe more an engine issue. Also, when I stream and have, let's say, 2 of my streams running in the background, the game starts to lag. That's a special case for sure, and it only happened to me once or twice because I forgot to close tabs. And for some reason, I needed to disable DLSS. That was causing some weird graphic issues and stutters at some point. At this point, I'd like to mention, if you like this kind of videos, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and press the thumbs up. It would really mean a lot to me. Okay, Dune Awakening is slightly a different story. The game runs just fine and looks beautiful, but only when I disable frame generation. If I enable frame generation, the game starts to weirdly stutter, and I see weird tearing in the image. All this runs well with streaming, recording, and using Nvidia Broadcast at the same time. What Nvidia Broadcast is, I'll explain that in a second. I played a couple of other games since January and never had any issues with that card. Sudden Strike 5 runs well, Life Below, Pragmata, Anno 117, which was stuttering heavy on the 7900 XTX at some point. Nothing was crashing, no weird error messages, no weird behavior except for what I've already mentioned. This did surprise me, as with AMD it was usually a matter of luck if I had to wait for fixed driver to run something at all. One remark in the comments was of course the power cord. The RTX 5080 has the famous power plug, and it did not melt. Yet. I would say nice so far. This brings us to Nvidia Broadcast I mentioned earlier, a nice little AI tool that runs with your Nvidia card. Using this, I can basically blur or remove my background so you don't see my absolute mess of an office. And it has little features that basically tries to keep eye contact with the camera. In general, these are nice little tools for creators. And to be honest, not all creators can afford a highly decorated studio room or can just freely talk without looking at the notes. And hey, that's absolutely a normal thing. Nvidia Broadcast also features tons of audio features, even more to manipulate your image. But careful, all of that costs compute power of your GPU. Means don't activate everything blindly. Test and check what you need and also check the settings. Talking about removal, for example, or talking about background removal, for example, this one would process the highest resolution possible of your camera. With mine, it was 4K. I had to turn it down to 1080 to solve some serious performance issues. Another important thing worth mentioning is you can easily switch between the studio driver, which I'm using right now, or the game ready driver with the latest and greatest features. I think that's an important note because I could imagine the game ready drivers having more bugs and issues as this one tries to support, let's say, every new game from day one. AMD has a similar concept, yes. However, when I was working with AMD, it didn't matter which driver I had. Sometimes severe bugs were carried from one version to another for basically months. Well, in the end, is the grass really greener on the Nvidia side, or at least as green as the Nvidia logo? What speaks against Nvidia is the price. With their name basically sort of a monopoly, and then having the AI bubble dominating the market, Nvidia GPUs are expensive. I was lucky enough to get a card just before the market went ham. Honestly, I don't see me buying an RTX 6K series when it comes out, if it ever comes out. Maybe not even a 7000 series. Just because the performance I have right now is enough to work with. Whereas with AMD, you were really thinking about performance with every new card release they gave us. I have to say, games feel smooth with the card, and not just benchmark smooth. They do play smooth, and that's important for me. Additional features like broadcast give me good additional value for my workflow. They might not be necessary for every casual gamer out there. Okay, to wrap things up, was it worth going into organ trafficking? Was it worth jumping from AMD to Nvidia? If you're only calculating FPS per euro, honestly, not at all. What does pay itself is peace with my hardware and peace while creating content or just gaming. I'm not spending hours over hours anymore debugging my computer on what is causing crashes, timeouts, and blue screens anymore. Would I recommend to upgrade or switch right now? Not if your PC runs just fine. If you are happy with the graphics quality you get, and performance you get out of your hardware, I would say stay where you are. If you're having serious issues, check if there are some discounts, vouchers, or something else you can use to get the most out of your purchase. By the way, it doesn't have to be a 5080. Check what you really need. In the end, it's personal experience, so every experience for you can obviously differ. Please feel free to discuss down in the comments below, and please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you so much, take care, and hopefully see you on the next one.